Hello, hello, hello. We are here doing a little stitching visit. Live, live, live. All right, we are checking this out. We have a few people that are going to join in with us this morning. Let's see here. Let's see if this thing is a working. It says we are live. All right. I need to figure out how to change that picture. It says we are live. And I know we want all messages. Okay. There we are. This looks so different. So different. Okay. So we are live. We are not using Facebook. We are using YouTube. That's what I meant to say. We are live on YouTube. So I am going to send a little doohickey over here to our messenger. Hey all, come visit with us. Come visit with us. Bring your project. Bring your project and your coffee and chat. There we go. Okay. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put it in a couple places so people know we're here. And I'll put it over here. Then I think that's going to help people find us. There. All right. We'll do it here just in case anybody wants to join us from there. All right. Hi. That's all the places. And now we'll come over here and we'll watch it. Okay. See if anybody finds us. If not, we'll just sit here and visit amongst ourselves. This looks so different from the other one. I've really got to get. Okay. The screen looks really different. I think I'm going to be able to see the chat better. I wonder what all these little buttons and doodads are for. See how badly I can mess this thing up. Well, it says there's 3 people here. Okay, there's the microphone. What is that? Share screen. Okay. Oh, hello, Miss Dana. I didn't expect you to be in here. Oh, I can see the background better. The background. Okay, so what do you mean by the background? Like this junk, all my junk? Is that what you're talking about? I do my best to hide all this when I'm doing a live. You like my cowhide? This was our Christmas present. Mister and I got a couple 3 gift cards and we pooled them all together and went and got the cowhide. It looks nicer. Okay. Is it like maybe sharper or something? Because usually I turn my screen, try to hide all this. But I mean, this is all like crochet stuff over here. So, we were talking about you. I know I love the cowhide. And let me see. I know this will probably make everybody sick to their stomachs because I'm going to move this. I'm going to try to pick the computer up so you can see what it looks like. See, this is how big how tall my wall is. There, you can see how big, and the wall goes all the way up there. It's still even taller. So that's my cowhide. There. Yes, we were talking about you quite a bit in our knitting this morning. So we had where is everybody? It says there's people in there. Okay, there's Miss Mary. Hi, that darling girl. So we had our little knitting thing this morning and we started just chit chatting. So we made the decision to close the knitting group. Hey, Linda, and then just come and do a chit chat group because we didn't want the knitting video to, you know, turn into a sit and stitch, sit and you know what I mean. So we opened this, but I had to figure out how to do it because I've never done this on my computer, and it's quite a bit different. So here we are. But you did find me, yay, Cheryl! So I sent the link to the couple of the different messenger thingies too, thinking maybe that would help people find us. Um, I got to change my little live picture. That's a picture of one of the lakes that we camped at while we were traveling. So that's an actual picture, I think. I think that's what that picture is. Let me go back and look at it. No, I lied. That's just a stock picture. That's not one of our pictures. No. I lied. That's just a stock picture that it gave us to pick from. I got to find I got to find a better picture to put up there and figure out how to change that. Um so so anyway, Miss Deb was in our group. Yes, if I'm sitting, I'm stitching. That's the truth. But Miss Deb was in our group and she told us that you guys get to are meeting up for dinner tonight. So that's fun. Everybody was very excited and very jelly. She gets to have FaceTime with the famous Dana. Um, and then it does seem clearer, but also we were talking about the Yarny Social and wondered if you had um, got a specific date scheduled because I know the last I heard you were still trying to get a date set. And so I didn't know. Oh, good Lord. Nightbot is going crazy. Going crazy. Hmm. I don't know if I was going to say I could bring you up to chit chat about it a little bit, but I don't know if I can on the computer. I know I can on the phone, but I don't know if I can on here. If I can figure out how to bring you up, Dana, um are you in a position to be able to come up and chit chat? I know sometimes you don't on Sundays. Okay, this is annoying me. I'm gonna make some changes to that real quick if I can. So what's everybody working on? You know what they say, what's in your cup, what's on your hook, what's on your needles? I don't know if I can get into it from here. I don't know. Maybe I can. But Darla girl, what are you working on? I know what Miss Cheryl's working on. Good Lord. She has got some fancy, fancy things. October 3rd. Okay, good. That's what I told people I thought that's what you were leaning towards, but I wasn't 100%. Okay. Oh, gauge swatches. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Gotta do it. Okay, let me. Okay, so first weekend in October. Hey, free handy. Okay, that's good. I told people I thought that's what you were leaning towards. That's not what I want. What I want. Yeah. Nope, that's not what I want. Let me get some things changed here because they're bugging me. Bugging me, bugging me. This. Nope. This. Yes. Okay. Mm-hmm. Squares. Dana's doing squares. I was just telling everybody that um I needed to make a couple squares because I think I have decided which square I want to do, and I got to do a test one to make sure that it's going to actually work out, and to see make sure the pattern's okay, and um the sizing on it. I have the yarn picked out. I got to grab it out of Miss Morgan's room after she gets up and do a test square. And I kind of feel like that's what I feel like doing today, even though there's other things I should be doing. But sometimes should and want are two completely different things. So what time does the Super Bowl start at your house, Free Handy? I think it starts at 3 o'clock where we are, but then there's usually an hour or two of pre-show stuff. I don't even know what channel it's on. Honestly, I don't even know if I can watch it. It's on six. Because some years it's on one of those off channels that you have to subscribe to even be able to see the thing. Okay, show of hands. CBS. Okay, who here will even be watching it? Oh, so you've got Mountain Time. CBS. That's channel 6, is not channel 3. CBS or Paramount Plus. Okay, Linda's going to watch it. Free Handy's watching it. Do you guys care what team? Mary's not watching it. Okay. Don't care. I only Super Bowl. Yep. A huge bowl of chips. There you go. That's a Super Bowl full of popcorn. Hockey. Oh, is there hockey on? Where's Jessica? Usually Jessica's in here. Hmm. Chiefs. I'm going for the Chiefs, but for a reason that is not probably anybody else's reason. I'm going for the Chiefs because they are not the 49ers. The 49ers are the enemy. We grew up in a household that always rooted for the Rams. And so it was the Rams, the LA Rams, the Los Angeles Rams. So it was always the Rams were always against the 49ers. And so it didn't matter who was playing the 49ers, that's who we had to root for. So with them being in the Super Bowl, I have to root. And I don't know a thing about the Chiefs except that they're playing the 49ers, so I have to root for the Chiefs. So that's why I'm rooting for the Chiefs. And if it were, let's say, the Chiefs and Dallas, I'd be rooting for the Chiefs. So I always root for whoever's playing against the 49ers and whoever's playing against Dallas. And if it were Dallas and 49ers, I'd be rooting for Dallas. That's the hierarchy. There is a definite hierarchy. I don't care in the least about the sports ever at all, but my household, not me, and it's so funny because I've had a few husbands, a few, not a one of them was super into sports, but my mother was a rabid football fan, and my big brother was a rabid football fan, and they were they were Rams fans, 100%. And you guys know how much I do not enjoy. That's right, you'll be at dinner with Deb. Where is Deb? I wonder if she's having a hard time finding me because she was in our other one and she was coming back. Um, yeah, but we switched over lives and she was coming to this one. She was coming back to this one. She's not here yet. She'll be so excited to find out that you're here. Um, okay, yeah, go get your pizza and get your chores done. You can listen. You can listen to us while you're running around. It's probably not gonna be interesting enough to listen to on replay. Just listen to us while you're doing your chores. Just keep it playing in the background. That's what I do. Yeah, that's what you gotta do. Yeah, it is not gonna be interesting enough to listen to on replay. Um, have a great day. Enjoy your game. I hope your team wins. Um, yes, my mom, the Blues versus the Sabres. Okay, so now that's hockey, you said, correct? And um, where are those teams from? Okay, so you'll root for the Chiefs because that was Wayne's team. Oh, boo, boo. Okay, that'll be fun. So you and I will be rooting against each other today. Um, now one of my exes liked the Steelers. He did like the Steelers, and he would watch the occasional football game. He would watch the Steelers. And if the Steelers, I mean, we always watched the Super Bowl. There was always a Super Bowl party. And in fact, back before I was back before I crocheted, before I got to crochet as much as I do now, it was always, and I think I've talked about this before. Oh, yes. I'll tell you, Linda. But back before I got to crochet as much as I do, back when I had a full-time job and a part-time job and another part-time job and was raising kids and, doing all the things. Um, okay, St. Louis, Missouri and Buffalo, New York. I might need a blankie. Um, we, yeah, there was always a Super Bowl party. And usually it was at my ex-husband's brother's house, and we would go over there, and I would always at the Super Bowl, I would always start a new crocheted blanket at during the Super Bowl party. I would start a new blanket. That was my tradition, start a new blanket. And everybody knew that somebody was going to get that blanket. And it was kind of a big deal for people to be, what is she making? What color is it? What's that pattern? Who's going to end up with this blanket? Because usually it ended up being somebody's Christmas present. And so um, it was kind of, it was kind of a thing to try to figure out who that blanket is going to end up, who's going to end up with that blanket. And sometimes I knew when I was starting that blanket where it was going to end up. And sometimes I kind of would decide based on somebody would say, "Oh my God, I love those colors," or "Oh, that pattern is fabulous." I kind of took from hints from people that somebody would end up with that blanket. So that was a big part of the Super Bowl for me was starting that blanket and deciding where it was going to end up at. And oftentimes that blanket that I started at the Super Bowl was the only project I worked on all year long. It was always a blanket. And of course, back then I didn't have as much disposable income. um, that particular husband was abusive, And one of his ways of being abusive was to control all the money. I was not allowed any money, no spending money, and so I couldn't go buy yarn if I wanted yarn. He would give me occasionally, he'd give me $20 here and there. Um, and that's the only way I ever got any money to spend. He controlled the checkbook, he controlled all the money. So if I got some birthday money from someone, sometimes I was allowed to keep it, sometimes I wasn't. So people the people that knew him and that knew he did those things, they would give me yarn for a birthday present, that kind of thing. So I would get the actual yarn that I could use instead of giving me money to go buy yarn because they knew I wouldn't get to keep that money. Um, so uh, that's how I got the yarn to make things with. And that's one of the reasons I couldn't crochet a lot because I didn't have the tools to do it with. Which is also, we have decided, haven't we, Miss Dana? That's part of why I have a hoarding tendency with my yarn and my supplies because I can buy those things now. But so to answer your question, Miss Linda wants to know, me who have so many whips. So funny that you ask that. Hello, Miss Carrie. Oh yeah, he was a delight, Miss Dana. See, and he's the one that even he's divorced and he is dead, and I am still doing things to prove him wrong. What'd you say? I'm still mad at him. Yeah, Mister will tell you I am still mad at him, and I still do things to prove him wrong, and I still do things that I know irritate him, like growing my hair long. I wasn't allowed to have long hair. He always required me to keep my hair short. So, as soon as I left him, I never cut my hair for years because I knew it made him mad. I do stuff like that. To this day, I do things that make my dead ex-husband mad. Yeah, there's no weirdness going on in here at all, right? Mm, so weird. That's right. You get to go to your knitting machine class. Yep. Mm-hmm. Still get mad. Yeah. So funny. So funny. Um, I wasn't allowed to talk to other men. And if I happened to, he would watch me. If I went to the library, he would drive me there and I'd go into the library. We had this little tiny, like, neighborhood library, and he could see me through the window. And if the librarian happened to be a man, I knew I was going to be in trouble because I had to talk to him and I knew he was watching me. And I knew when I came out, I was going to be in trouble because I had talked to a man. It was bad. It was bad. And he wasn't as bad as my first husband, who is another dead ex-husband. But I'm not trying to please him anymore. I'm not trying to not please him, but I'm not trying to make him mad anymore. I I got over him. I got past that one. It's just the other one. It's that last one. So enough of that. So how do I how do I decide? Funny that you should mention that. Um, because I am working through my list of whips. I am. I truly am. In fact, where's my book? Where's my book? Is it right here or is it? Oh, it's over there. Hold on one second. Scorched earth. The blanket is outside. That knit blanket is outside that I am pulling. Oh, crunch, groan, crackle. Oh. Um, the scorched earth, the blanket that I'm working on, that big knit blanket that I'm having so many problems with, is actually out in the car. And I'm pulling yarn from my blankie. I am using yarn from my stash for that. And Oh, I have my list of you guys saw me do my whip video. Sorry if that's super loud. Um, you guys saw my whip list from last year, and I am slowly but surely working through that list. I need to redo the list because I've got so many crossouts and notes and everything on it. I can't even really tell where I'm at anymore. Um, but I'm trying to decide between two things for my next what I was kind of sort of doing this year was picking things that I thought would be fast to work up so I could get it done quick and then move on to the next thing. And also work on things that would check off more than one list. So like I'm doing what's her name? Somebody help me, Lori, the armchair chef. She's got that mystery. You know, I don't like mystery things because I can't think of anything. But she's got that mystery exchange doohickey and the mystery yarn challenge exchange where you exchange yarn and then you have to make something from the yarn you get. Uh, that's going to make my head explode. But she changed it up this year, and you can send someone yarn, which you know I like that. Thank you, Mary. And you can work on a whip. So I did that for January and I finished a whip, and I did that for February. Okay, so now uh, I don't know that I have anything that I could do for March and finish. I don't think I'm to the point now where none of my whips are going to be something I can finish in a month. Because basically, and was it you, Carrie, asked me the other day how many blankets I have in process? I forgot about 3 or 4 other blankets when we were talking about that. But I don't have anything else on my whip list that are things that are going to work up fast. Everything else is going to be probably several months because they're all big, complicated blankets now. So that's kind of what I was thinking. At first, I was doing things that would work up quick, and or be able to work on multiple things. The other list that I was kind of doing was, and I got that from, oh my gosh, what is her name? That's her name isn't Lori, is it? No, Kim. Kim from Yarning for a Smile. I sure like her. Um, she's involved with what are you making Thursday? What are you working on Thursday? What are you making Thursday? And they've got an item every month. The first month was the slippers, and I pulled yarn from my stash from that. And that's the other thing. I won't do anything unless I can pull yarn from my stash for my scorched earth stuff. So the first month was slippers, and I made those Franken slippers, but I did it. And this month happened to be a blanket. So there you go. Things we're making Thursday. Yeah. So I did January and I'm doing February, which happened to be a blanket. So 4 different lists for February. I don't know what the item is March. Do you happen to know what March's item is, Mary? I'd have to go look up the list. And I don't even know where. I think I took a picture of it, but I'd never be able to find it. Um, that's a good idea, Dana, making a due date. And I'm also putting my yarn labels in a box over there. I'm not going to do the individual monthly label count like I tried to do last year. I'm just going to throw them all in the box and do a count at the end of the year. Show how much I've gotten through. So, and I did decide I have two I have 2 sweaters, and I know we talked about this. I have 2 sweaters that I wasn't sure what to do with. One of them is the Hexicardi, and I really, really like it. Don't know if I'm gonna be able to figure out where I am in the pattern. However, now that I've got that knitting lady at the store, she's a pretty good crocheter as well. Excuse me. And I think she might be able to help me find my place if I can't figure it out. And the other one was the Catalina cardigan. And again, it's the same thing. If I can't find my bags. Oh. Hmm. Don't know if I want to start a bag just for that. Have to think about it. I don't have any bags on my list, and I've got too many projects that I need to do to make a bag. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Because I don't have a bag started already. Have to think about that one. The other one is that Catalina cardigan, and I'm almost to the point where I have decided to rip it out and use that yarn to make either the the grandpa sweater from Bag a Day, or or I just saw Angela. Somebody tell me Angela's channel. Angela from Canada. Why can I not think of her name? Anyway, Angela just did a tutorial for a pretty simple sweater. All of her sweaters are pretty simple. And and usually she uses a 5 weight because a lot of times she uses that puzzle yarn. Why can I not think of Angela's? Thank you, my precious yarnery. Thank you. She just did a tutorial for a sweater, and I really liked that because like I said, normally she uses puzzle yarn, and her sweaters are very, very chunky and bulky. And this time she used a 4 weight, and I liked it a lot. So I'm vacillating now between one of those 2 sweaters. I had pretty much decided. I was 90% decided that I was gonna take that sweater and rip it out and do that. So, that's kinda where I'm at. I'm kinda thinking that's what I'm gonna do, is I'm gonna tear that yarn out and do that for my next whip. But, so what to answer your question, I kinda sorta was to the point where I'm trying to do things that are gonna be to be able to finish the quickest, so I can get through my list. So I can get through my list. But like I said, almost everything on this list now is blankets. I've got Fruit Garden, Sophie's Universe, Charlotte, which did you guys know Sophie's Universe has a sister and her name is Charlotte. So there's Sophie's Universe and there's Charlotte. I don't think it's Charlotte's Universe. I think it's something else, but they're sister blankets and they're both the same style. I've got the Annie's sampler crochet, which I'm probably a quarter to a third done with that, and I can't decide if I'm gonna keep going or rip it out. It's probably gonna sit there all year while I decide. I've got the Annie's knit stripe sampler, and I was leaning towards ripping that out, and now I'm leaning towards finishing that. I've got the Easter table runner, which is a not mosaic. It's a fillet. It's a fillet crochet table runner, and I really like that. That's for sure gonna get done. I've got that Hexie Cardi, the Catalina Cardi. I've gotta do something, no, I ripped that out already. And I've got that knit cowl, that knit that I started last year at the Yarny Social. It's, you use 2 colors of yarn, and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I took that to knitting class last week because I couldn't remember how to do this. And when I sat down with her, it was like, oh, you just do this. And I asked her a couple of questions and she helped me find out exactly where I was in my pattern. And I had marked it on the pattern, but I just wanted to make sure I was right because I didn't want to mess this up. And literally 10 minutes of talking to her, and I was right back in my rhythm. But I asked her a couple of questions. Now, why am I doing this? And why am I doing that? And I was right back in my rhythm. Boom, 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 boom. So as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 5 blankets, a cowl, maybe 1, maybe 2 sweaters, and a table runner. So there's nothing on there that's quick. And that's how I decide. That's how I got to decide on what whip to work on next. But remember, we were talking last week that there is a difference between those aren't really whips. We've decided those are really UFOs. They've kind of got set aside because the whips are the things I'm actively working on. Oh, and I wanted to ask you a question, Dana, because what I'm actively working on is, I think, 5. I'm actively working on the squares for the knit along, and that's this week's square. So that's 1, which is also a blanket. I'm actively working on the knit, that supposedly fast knit blanket, which is out in the car because I didn't bring it in after I took it to the shop yesterday. So that's 2. That's the thing that I'm knitting on with that thick and quick, and that was a whip from last year. So, and it's going to be done. It'll be done by the end of this week. I'm actively working on the socks. I have 1 finished. I need to get that other one cast on and get going on that. I am actively working on the mosaic blanket, the Sholach, and there is something else. Oh, the Christmas stocking. So I have 5 things that I'm actively working on. Now, Dana, I wanted to ask you, you said something yesterday in the live when you were having problems reading comments. You said something about my Christmas stocking, but I didn't know which because I didn't know which Christmas stocking you were talking about because I have recently finished a Christmas stocking and that was done in mosaic. And I know how much you like mosaic, but I'm also currently working on this other Christmas stocking. So I thought maybe that was the Christmas stocking you were talking about. And I think it's around the corner here because, oh yeah, it's over here because I had taken it last week. And I didn't bring it back over here to my working spot. So I wasn't sure which of the 2 Christmas stockings you were talking about yesterday because I came in after you had mentioned it. So this is a Solach, which is a mosaic. Okay, I will. So this is a Solach. That's the one I'm actively, and when I say actively, I've got like 3 rows done. This is a mosaic. And in theory, my plan was, this has 12 sections, and I was supposed to do 1 section a month. That didn't happen. But that was the goal with that. But I still love, love, love it. And this is, so the other Christmas stocking is the one where you helped me with the stitch. And it is right here. Oh. Because you also mentioned Finish It Friday, which this is the one I've been showing in the Finish It Friday recently. And that's this one. And it is going to look like this when it's done, if I ever actually get it done. I think I'm going to get it done, especially now that I have figured out that little trick with that weird crochet hook that it's working up. And the other one is over here. Hello, kitty kitty. I don't know if I'm going to be able to reach it. I have to crawl over some things to get to it. Nope, I can reach it. The other one is right over here. And it's finished. This is the one I did, I think I did right before Christmas. This one, which is done, this is mosaic. And this was done with mosaic and it was done in the round. And the only reason I made this stocking was to learn how to do mosaic in the round. And I think it turned out pretty darn well. Plus, I did a heel, which I was not sure how I was going to, how a heel was going to work. And it was so easy. I don't know why I worried about it. But yeah, there was that. So that's the 2 Christmas stockings. The first one. Okay. So no, you had mentioned that it was knit, and it is not. It's crochet. This is the one with that it's called the stitch is this is the wainscot stitch that you helped me figure out how to do because I was going insane trying to figure that out. Um so it's crochet. And sometimes this stitch is called the knit stitch, and sometimes this stitch is called, there's another thing they call it slip. This is the slip stitch where you have to go, you got to get your dang hook right there in between. You got to get it in between, in between, like that, in between those two. And I was going crazy getting my hook in there because you know me, I crochet tight. And doing that, it was killing my hands. Yeah, the split single, split single crochet. They call it lots of, but the whole point of making this sock, this stocking, was to learn how to do this stitch. Remember that hat, that hat we talked about. That's the stitch that is this hat. That hat is made out of, and I wanted to learn this so I could make that hat, plus some other things. Um, and I wanted to learn how to do all these color changes within the project. But no matter what hook I used, it was killing my hands. It was killing my hands. And when I used basic, my basic, even this big, and now this one's a little bigger, but it was bending my hook. I'm like, I can't do that. It's gonna break my hook. And so then I went back to this one, which I almost never use because this heavy hook hurts my neck and my shoulders. But I could only do this like 1, 2 rows, no more than an hour in an evening. And then my hand would start to hurt. But this helped. Well, then I remembered this little hook. Remember, I bought this hook at that craft show and I didn't like it because, or it wasn't that I didn't like it, I was worried about it because see the see the neck on that thing? See how it starts small and then ends up big? There's no way to tell the throat on this thing. There's no way to the size. You can't control the size on this thing. And I'm like, that's not going to work. That is not going to work unless you're the way you crochet, you just automatically go to the exact same spot all the time, which I think we probably kind of automatically do. But I'm like, that's not going to work. Well, then I got to thinking, this thing is so sharp at the top. Look how sharp that thing is. I'm like, that is exactly what I need. It's small and it is sharp because in theory, this thing is a 2. This is a size 2, and that is so small and so sharp. That is exactly what I need to get through this stitch. So I dug this thing out and I'm like, "Oh, this is perfect." It goes right through that stitch because it's small and it is sharp. And then I run it all the way up to about there. And I have done all of the white. I've done these 2 rows of white and 1 row of the green with that. You cannot tell the difference in size at all. So it ends up the top of that throat where I'm running my hook. Trying to get something on here that you can, where I'm running that hook is almost identical to the size of the hook that I'm supposed to be using. So it's working out perfectly for this project. And so I can get that itty bitty hook in there, grab that yarn and pull it through, and it's making the perfect size stitches. It isn't hurting my hand because I'm not fighting with every stitch. And I've got a project that's working now, and it's just working out perfectly. So, so that's what's going on with this. So happy with it. So, so, so happy. In fact, I could probably work on this while we sit and visit. No, I have to look at the chart. See, it's a chart. I can't do that while we talk. Hey, Miss Angela. So, those are all my projects in the works. 5 things. I will finish that one blanket this week. So then I will have the stocking, the solage, so chart, the knit squares, which most of the time that's not something I can take with me and just randomly do. So that's the 3 things. 1, 2, 3. So what's the 4th thing, you guys? What did I just say? Oh, the knit sock. And actually, other than when I get down to like the heel, and most of the knit sock is something that I can do because it's a lot of just going round and round and round and round and round. That's the only thing I can actually do while I'm sitting and talking or in the car or something like that. Everything else, I have to be sitting, concentrating, reading a chart, that kind of thing. That's the other way I pick a project. Um, who asked me the question? It wasn't Cheryl. It was Linda. I will, I try to have things, I try to have something going that I can sit and work on, like right now, sit and work while we're doing this, because, you know, this is my working on stuff time. And I don't have a single thing that I can just sit and work on because I need to be looking at a chart or reading a pattern or counting. And I don't have anything like that. So chip clips. What do you do with your chip clips, Elizabeth? I do use them. I have you. I have used the little ones for stuff, for holding bits of yarn, especially on the ends. I've used them for like a bobbin for colors, hmm for that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's kind of how I decide what I'm working on. Oh, while joining. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Mhm. I don't join things a lot, so I wouldn't have thought of it. With this project here with my knitting is one of the first things I've joined together in a very, very long time. I definitely want to work on, see, I with, so I've got all these things, and what I want to work on is my squares for the friendship blanket. for the square exchange. That's what I want. That's what I feel like working on today. And see, and that's how I get started, you know, on so many different projects. La 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 la. That's that's how my brain works. 3 a.m. Yes, you need to go to bed, Cheryl. You need to go to bed because you have to be nice and bright so that. Can I show everybody your blanket? Is it okay with you if I show everybody the blanket that you made, Cheryl? Mhm. Okay. So Miss Cheryl, who by the way is going to be putting together later on this year, she's going to be putting together a knit along, um, which will be beyond a step above. This one that I'm doing is very simple. I don't want to. It's I'm trying to find this one while I talk. Here it is. It's simple. It's easy. The squares are easy, and she is like, we need some squares that have a little more umph to them. So she started sending me some squares. And then after we talked a bit, we decided she was going to do her own crochet along or knit along. And she's going to start us out with some not as easy as these squares are, like this. These are pretty darn easy squares. So we're going to say intermediate and then work us up to advanced because this is the kind of stuff that she does. Look at this gorgeous hat. This is a stunningly beautiful, gorgeous hat that she knit, that she designed. She created and designed. Everybody applaud Miss Cheryl. But that's not all. Look at this. She designed that hat based on this. Let's see if I can turn this. Oh, yeah. Based on this design, this blanket that she also designed and knit. Can you guys see how intricate that thing is? It makes me cry just looking at those stitches. And she just finished this project. Isn't that phenomenal? She said it took her 4 months to design it. 4 months to design it and then 3 months to knit it. Is that what you said? Just stunning. Absolutely stunning. So she's designing a project. She's designing a project for us to knit later on this year. After we get past this project, we're gonna move on to that one. That'll be the next one. So yay! I'm excited. And she's going to teach us so we're not scared and so we're not stuck. And she's going to help us every step of the way. Very excited about that. Very, very, very excited about that. Okay, yes, we'll both work on squares. How many do you have done, Dana? Bye, Mary. We'll talk to you later. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to see if I can do this and talk at the same time. I don't know that it's going to be a thing. We're going to try. We are going to try. Oh. Yeah. So are you driving, Dana? You've got to be driving. We know that she's going to be in Phoenix tonight because she's having dinner with Deb. I'm so jelly. That's so exciting. One's finished and 2 halves. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. Um, so the design that I decided to try to give it a try is called a mitered is a mitered square, which is a something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've wanted to learn how to do it. And that's why when I came across that block, I'm like, "Oh, I want to do this one because this is something that I have wanted to do anyway." So, I decided to give it a shot. Okay, yep, so she's headed to Phoenix. So, mm, okay. And, Cheryl just went to bed, but she just finished that huge, huge, huge project, and she's like, "I just finished this huge project, and now I'm kind of at a loss." And that's how it is when you do finish a great big project that you've been Did you feel that way when you finished the fruit garden? Of course, you went right from fruit garden to that beautiful, sunflower blanket. Oh, you got snow in Mesa, and then who else? Let's see, let me go back to my What are you working on, Elizabeth? Oh, you're sewing together pieces for something. Jet's off to her knitting machine class. Oh, heart wash class. I saw a pattern yesterday, I think, for some heart wash class that I really liked that pattern. And I thought that sounded like fun. Yeah, big project to big project. Yeah, that's kind of what we do, huh? Kind of what we do. So, I know what we do. But I'm also really liking finishing the stuff on my list from last year, my WIP list. It's feeling good to get because everything that's on the list are things that I really wanted to do and get done. Um, so that's been good. I'm just going back here real quick to see if Darla girl, are you still here? And Miss Linda, Free Handy's doing her chores in the background. And Paula, I know what Paula's working on. Paula's working on her squares plus some other things. Paula got a little frustrated and put it aside and then picked it up again. And we've all been there, have we not? We have all been there. So, um, I'm also getting the itch to no, you be quiet. I just was one. I didn't want to ignore you. Oh, I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I was just wondering what you've been working on. What kind of project you're working on. Oh, you're working on your greenway. Green. Yeah, that's nice. We've got something you don't have to keep track of. Kinda need something like that. Well, and that's what that in fact, that's what I should have over here is that silly, um, cocoon sweater. That's what that's for, is for times like this. But, I thought I would give this a try and see if I can work on this, but I'm afraid there's too much counting. Too much counting. Oh my, you gotta make 50 blocks, Elizabeth. Hmm. Oh, you're not making blocks, you're making the washcloths. And you're making those for the kids in your son's school, is that right? Yeah. I did see I did see a pattern for that that I thought looked really interesting, and I thought that would be a fun thing to make. But like I said, I'm trying not to add on even little things like that because, you guys saw my list and you see all the things I got going. And I don't have, next thing you start adding on a bunch of little stuff. Plus I have to do the gnome. Gotta get that gnome done. Yeah. I don't think he's gonna take that long once I get going on him. You guys do better with deadlines or just lists of things you want to do? My problem with lists, and I'm a big time list maker, is my problem with lists is I just keep adding things to my list. I think Dana works good with deadlines. Oh, she's got 281 miles till she's where she needs to be. So that's 5 hours, maybe one, two, three, four, five, maybe a little more than 5 hours. Me? No. mm, I kind of thought we'd have Jessica in here this morning. She might be busy too. And you know what I did? I missed her live last weekend where she made those marshmallows. I didn't get to see it after I made such a big deal about wanting to see it. And I cannot remember the name of her channel. I should go and look. I think there's a way to look at who you are subscribed to, and I'll see her little emblem, and I should be able to find it that way, and then I can go and watch it. Oh, your Noah scarf, yeah. Okay, yeah. 'Cause I think right now, well, so I have my weekly square, and I try to stay 1 week ahead because with doing the live, I wanna have mine done so that I can show people, and then if there's any kinda little glitch or any little doohickey that I wanna be able to tell people, "Hey, watch out for this." And so as long as I'm 1 week ahead on that, I'm fine. But I don't think and then that stocking that you like is that just has to be done by Christmas. And I'm actually already ahead of I have figured out I need to do 3 rows a week on that to get it done by Christmas, and I'm actually ahead of schedule on that, but nothing else. Well, show launch, I'm already behind on that. Um, and I'm supposed to have started another different blanket. I haven't started. I may have to do that instead of picking up one of my whips, I might have to grab that blanket and start on that. Because that's that wedding present from October. That's what I that's what I need to do, isn't it, you guys? I gotta get that wedding present done. I have to start that instead of grabbing one of my last year's whips, because all of those whips are big, and I'm not gonna get anything nothing I'm working on is gonna be finished in a few weeks. I gotta start that. I have to start another blanket. I gotta start another blanket, right? You guys have to tell me I'm right because I know that's what I have to do. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be it's a stitch I've never done, but it doesn't look hard. I think after 2 or 3 rows, I'll have the rhythm down. Um, it's something I can take with me and work on, but the chart is only for this row is this and sometimes it'll be 10 rows of this color and 5 rows of that color. So I need to know what each the colors of each section, but it's not like some charts are, individual stitches. And I had to map it out. The chart I had to map it out, but so that's done. I've got the chart mapped out. I've got the stitch picked out. I've got the yarn picked out. I just have to start the thing. And I'm gonna use is it the linen stitch? I think it is the linen stitch. Let me look. Let me look. Oh, that's pretty. Look what popped up when I went to my Ravelry. Isn't that pretty? Okay, let's see here. Where's in my library or is it in my favorites? It would be in my library. And it should be oh, what's it called? What's it called? Sometimes it's faster for me to scroll. Oh, here's that washcloth I was telling you about, that heart washcloth that I just saw. It's the waffle stitch. I like that. It's pretty. But I didn't go squirrel. I just saved it. I just saved it. This might be oh, look at this. Does that look familiar to anybody? Does that look familiar, Miss Dana? Ha. Yeah, I was doing something in here the other day and that popped up as a suggestion for me. And I already had it saved. I don't know why it popped up as a suggestion. I might have to search blankets. I've got too many things in here. And I saved this a while ago. Oh, there it is. So this is the blanket that I'm going to be making. Obviously, those aren't the colors. But you see how each little section is a different color. And so I've got mine mapped out. Hello, Maritza. I've got mine mapped out for the different colors that I need to use. And I didn't even realize until after I had been looking at this and been picking out my colors and everything. I didn't even realize that this was knit, but I can do the same stitch in crochet. So, whoops. It's and it was a free pattern, which was even better. And it's done in free download. Download. What is it done in? I thought it was the linen stitch. Yeah. Well, they do. They kind of do because they have you can make a grouping of the projects that you're working on. Hello, Miss Kim. I was just talking about you. I was talking about you a little while ago. I was saying we were talking about the what are you working on Thursday projects that I'm going to finish I did my January. I'm calling it my Franken slipper because that turned out to be yeah, it is the linen stitch. So, but instead of knitting the linen stitch, I'm doing mine in the crocheted linen stitch. And this is really pretty though. That knit linen stitch is really pretty, but the crocheted one is just as pretty. And you know, for me, the crochet is going to be 1,000 times faster. So I'm super excited about that. And like I said, I've got it. I've got the chart all done. I've got my colors all figured out, and I just got to start the thing. That's going to be That's it's. I just have to do it. I can't start. I can't even pick up. I cannot pick up another one of my past whips. I just have to get that started and get going on it. And I want to. It's not even that I don't want to. I just all the things, all the squirrels. That's got to be my next and I should have done that instead of soul watch. But I really thought I could do that soul watch thing in one day. Why? Why do I ever think these things? But yeah, so that's what I got to do. Seaming up a hat. So yeah, so Kim, we were talking about the what are you working on Thursday or whatever that thing is called, and the the whip that I'm doing counts for a whip, getting a whip done, which we have decided they're not really whips, even though that's what we're calling them. They're actually UFOs that I'm getting all of last year's, trying to get all things we're making Thursday, trying to get my UFOs from last year done. So that's one of those. It's a UFO. It's things we're making Thursday because it's a blanket. It's Lori's mystery crochet, whatever she calls her thing. It counts as that. It counts as Dana's scorched earth because I'm only using yarn out of my stash. So it counts as four check marks I get to do. And I'm going to have it done by the end of this week. So, boom, done. And I wasn't sure what next month's things we're making Thursday thingy is, but somebody checked it out for me, and they're bags. And don't I don't have a bag in the works. And we were sitting here ticking off all the things that I've got, all of the whips and my deadlines and my UFOs, and I don't have a bag in anything. And so I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't want to start something new to accomplish that. I just don't think I can. There's just no way I can justify it. Nobody has asked me to make a bag for them. Unless I can count a soap sack. Is that a bag? That'd be the only way I could justify it, is if I literally did something really small like that. I don't have any birthdays coming up that I could count. I just don't know how I don't think I could justify starting something like that. Which means I'm also not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to do, I'm not going to be able to do Lori's thing either for a couple of months, probably. Dang it. There's just not enough hours, you guys. There just isn't. So Kim, Kim, you're doing a blanket for this month? Kim, Kim, speaking of blankets, Miss Kim, are you going to be participating in our block exchange? You've got a blanket you're working on. Okay. You've got a whip blanket. There you go. Are you going to be participating in our block exchange that Dana and I are doing? Oh, okay. This is my anthology. I'm liking it. Thank you, Darla. I'm glad that you popped in. I hope we can see you later. Oh, the Tunisian. Well, Dana, I couldn't have if it wasn't that I had started it and it was that great big thick yarn. Yeah. We're doing so this block that we're doing, it's crocheted, so the crochet goes faster. And we're picking a block and it has to be a 10-inch block. And you've got until May 1st to finish all of the blocks. So you sign up, you send an email to Dana, tell her you'd like to be on a list, and then you're doing 12 10-inch blocks, the spring square swap, hashtag spring square swap. Do 12 of the same blocks. You're going to mail out 11 of them. Keep one for yourself, of course. And then when you get the other 11 in the mail, then you can connect them up to make a friendship blanket. And they can be pretty simple blocks. Mine's going to be, I think I finally decided on, I looked at about 14,000 blocks. But I've decided on a mitered corner square, and I'm going to make my first one this afternoon to see how it works up. But it can be a fairly simple, even a fairly simple granny, something in the granny family. Doesn't have to be difficult. Um, Dana's doing a really pretty, what would you call it? Sort of a motif looking thing. Hers are really pretty. Um, but there's basically two rules. It has to um, block out to 10 inches, and it has to be made at, well, three rules. Has to be crocheted, has to block out to 10 inches. Yeah, hers is a Victorian. Oh, so pretty. And it has to be made of not out of animal fiber. That's kind of right. Animal fiber. Yeah, that's where I tangle. Um, that's kind of the only rules. And you have to commit 100% commit to getting them mailed out by May 1st. So you've got a long time. February, March, and April. 2.5 months for you. That's a cakewalk for you. Um, they're gonna be really. I think they're gonna be. I'm super excited. Okay, see you in a few minutes. Um, I'd love to see her involved because again, her work is so pretty as well. It's just fun. It's fun to see different people involved in things. 1, 2, 3, and 1. Man, I'm getting hungry. Um, you know what else I have going that I don't even count is spring friendship. Yeah, I like calling it a friendship Afghan because even though, I mean, obviously it's a square swap, but somebody asked me, well, what are you gonna do with all these squares? Well, we're gonna put them together and make an Afghan, just a little lapgan. And I just randomly called it a friendship Afghan because I think I heard that somewhere and I just liked the way it sounded. One, knit one 3 times. One, knit one 3 times. Oh, good. Oh, and yes, I 1000% agree with what you said yesterday about not setting up a whole nother special, um, I don't even know what you called it, for the cruise. Just roll it into something you've already got set up. I don't want to have to go to another place. It'll get lost in the shuffle. I think, oh, okay. Um, um, I think the fewer places people have to go, the better off there that we are. I'm so smart. 1, 2, 3. Spring friendship Afghan. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah, and I'm sure I heard it from somebody else. I'm sure I didn't come up with that on my own. I think a year or 2 ago, somebody else was trading blocks or that we were somebody was making blocks and sending it to somebody, and they were doing something with an Afghan, and I think that's what they called it, was a friendship Afghan, and, I just grabbed it from that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Mm, um, "Hello, kitten, what are you doing?" Miss Kitten has decided a fun thing to do at 4:30 in the morning is to get up on my dresser where I can't reach her from the bed and just randomly knock things off to the floor. Knock things off. Don't you? That's a lot of fun, isn't it? So I don't know what you're talking about. I would not do that. Yeah, you. I'm talking about you, Missy. Talking about you, Missy. Ooh, always forget the 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2. Oh. I slept like a log when I got home last night. It was a we had a really good event at the theater. Um, they had 2 of the instructors from the music department put on a music. Ooh, Palm Desert, California, that sounds warm. I just saw I'm sure that's where it was at. I just saw a thing on TV about, they built it was at a golf course, an old golf course, and they built a water it was like a water park, but instead of a water park, they built a giant wave pool where you can surf. You can ride the waves and surf. Actual riding surfboard because of the wave pools that they built there. Oh, it was on the Today Show. I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm sure that's where they built it was Palm Desert. But I could be wrong. Might have been in Arizona somewhere, but it seems like that's where it was. Might have been in Arizona. I could be completely wrong. So, but for some reason, Palm Desert is sticking in my brain. Yeah, that's where Dana is right now. Palm Desert, California. Permit, permit, permit. So, yeah, Golf Land in Tempe, Arizona. Oh, maybe that's what it was. And it's a water park. Maybe that's what it is because they were talking about they put in a water park. I bet you that's where it is. Yeah, because they were talking about it being a big deal about having brought in a water park. My teeth feel weird this morning. They feel tight. And you can go like surfing there, right? They were using surfboards. Absolutely. Iced tea. Do you want just a bottle of iced tea or do you want it on ice in a cup with ice or do you just want a bottle of iced tea? Do you have flavored ones or are they just plain? I like the peach iced tea myself. I buy cases of those. I wasn't supposed to do that, was I? See, now I gotta count. 2, 1. Nope, I did it right. I did it right. See, I've got all these little markers so I don't get in the wrong spot. Okay, now purl 1, knit 3, purl 1. Purl 1, knit 3, 2, 3, purl 1. Just a bottle. Okay. I'll open it for you too. 3. Okay. Green label, unsweetened. Oh, do you use the, what is that? Some pure leaf? Do you like that? Is that the kind you get? Now we're back up here. Oh, you got 6 eggs today? We are officially selling our eggs now. We're getting that many. We can't keep up. Oh, I got money from, did Morgan tell you? I got money from the guy at her work and he pre-ordered 3 dozen. So I've got a 20 for you. So the one he bought the other day and then he pre-ordered 3 dozen. But she's not sure how. Well, he wants like 1 dozen a week or something like that. So she's not sure how often he wants them. So it's so funny because the eggs that the girls are laying, they're not really big. So I'm calling them sort of a medium. And so what we decided is we're selling them for $4 a dozen. And then when you return the carton, you get a 50-cent rebate. So 3.50 a dozen. Well, so far, every single person, and it's just word of mouth. It's like people at Morgan's work, people at my work at the college, that kind of thing. A couple of the neighbors. And so far, everybody that we've told $4 has given us 5. They're like, no, no, keep it, keep it. So it's so fun. And so Mister's just using it to pay for feed. So he paid for his feed this month out of his egg sales, and so that's kind of fun. And and then like I said, the guy at Morgan's work prepaid for 4 dozen eggs. So that's cool. And they're good eggs and we're getting almost a dozen a day, between usually 10 or 11 a day. So that's really really cool and they're keeping right up. So yeah, it's it's fun. But we wanted to make sure that, they were laying consistently, and I think they are a little bit bigger now than when they were first laying. Not a lot bigger, but they're definitely a little bit bigger.
The dark brown ones are a lot bigger.
Yeah, the dark brown ones are a lot bigger than they're 2 different colors, so they're sort of a tannish color, and they're all speckled. So it's fun. It's definitely fun. 4. Yeah, I hope this counts right. I think it is.
Covered eggs.
Okay, so these are the eggs from one of the chickens. These are the ones that are a little bit bigger and they're dark brown and they're real speckly. And then these are from the other chickens. They're light brown and once in a while they're a little speckly. So they're definitely different. Well, they're he loves his chickens and they love him. The one chickens, the one that do the light colored eggs, right? They're the ones that love you the most. He goes he goes out there and they come running to him and they jump up. They want him to hold them and pet them. And they just love him. They just the other ones are like, yeah, hi dad. What's up? No, don't pick me up. I'm good. Yeah, you can pet me, but yeah. He can pet them if they're in the nest, but they don't want to be held and loved on like the other ones do. And the who
in my lap.
Mhm. They will. They'll jump up in his lap and love all over on him, and it is so funny. It is so, so funny. See, now I can't tell if I've done my 4 rows or if I need to do 2 more rows. That definitely looks like a mistake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I think I need to do 2 more. No, I think it's done. I can't tell. I can't tell. I can't tell. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14, 8. I think it's done. Yeah, the chickens are fun. That is for sure. Yeah, I think I'm done. Okay, so now I gotta go to did that. Now I gotta do that. Okay. Well, if not, it won't look exactly right. And I'll be able to tell after this row. Yeah, anyway. Morgan had so much fun last night, Dana, after her twirling class. She had so much fun, and they actually gave them some roving to work with, so she didn't even have to use the roving that I had already bought for her. And so they showed her how to change colors and how hers is thick and thin. So hers ended up being like a roving weight. And one of the ladies she said ended up being like a perfect 2 weight, but she just absolutely loved it. She came home with 2 great big bags of different colors of stuff. And, so she's hooked. And so I'm pretty sure that she's going to be doing a lot of that. And um, working on that. And she said that there's even different drop spindles to do different stuff with, which to me, they all looked the same. But um, so that was exciting. And they showed them how to mix different fibers to get blends. And she had a lot of fun. She really enjoyed the class yesterday. So I'm super glad that she got to go and do that. Um, she was so proud. And then what they do is they take the yarn off of that she made, and she puts it onto just like a paper towel roll, and then makes some more, makes something else. But it's very what she made last night is very rustic looking, very, very thick and thin. But I've seen people make stuff out of that, and if she's weaving, if she and that's what she wants to do, she wants to weave. But I've seen people, use that stuff for weaving, and it looks really cool. So, pretty sure that she's gonna end up with a weaving loom. I think that's what they call them in her future. Uh, she said that she's gonna start with just a homemade one, and but I told her that I know at that place at the yarn store that we go to, they have used ones there frequently at a really decent price, that she just needs to kinda keep an eye out, and I go there often enough that I can keep an eye out too. I'm there every couple of weeks. I don't ever go into that section because I feel like lost. I'm completely lost when I go up into that area, but, um, I can pop up there and I know what I'm looking for her, and I can look at prices. And then if I see something that's a good price, I can let her know right away. And also, I bet if I let them know what I'm looking for, they would let me know. Because usually when you have a relationship with somebody at a place like that, they'll do that kind of thing for you because they want those things sold. But they sell weaving. What are they called? Weaving looms and spinning wheels. Check out the local guild. Yep, I'm sure they've got them. I'm sure we've got one here. And these people probably know how to connect with them, or there's probably a Facebook group. But the other thing she said was she has such a wonderful time, um, hanging out with the other ladies that were doing that, which I think is super good for her to connect with people. Roll the last. To connect with people doing the same kind of thing. Well, just like us in our group, you know, people having the same interest in hanging out. It would be fun for her. And it's tricky for her because she does work nights. It's tricky for her to connect with other people that do things. Yeah. Okay. Make sure that's not bleach you're spraying on the carpet.
White carpet though.
Well, that's not the problem though. It'll tear it down. It'll break it apart. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea to try to find a guild. Wonder if they would have, like get-togethers, like we have the knit night type thing. Seems like they would. We've got two yarn stores here, and both of them sell spinning wheels, which I find interesting. I didn't think there'd be that big of an interest here. He's trying to kill me, you guys. He's trying to kill me. But at the yarn store that the big yarn store that we were at yesterday, or it's the main yarn store, they have an entire floor, not just a little area, an entire floor of roving. I mean, just like rows and rows and rows of it. Like like what we used to be able to see at Hobby Lobby for yarn. More than that. Rows and rows and rows of buckets of the roving for the spinning. And I was shocked. I had no idea. First of all, I didn't even know there was that much different stuff. So that was really surprising to me. Good morning, Miss Lisa. Well, we're just chit-chatting, seeing what everybody's working on. Hoping yeah, I think I did right. I don't think I messed this up. Yeah, I think that looks right. I don't know what I did there. I did something weird there, but oh, there's Jessica. Yay! I was wondering where you were. Okay, Miss Jessica. I would you please type the word drop because I couldn't remember the name of your channel so I could go over there and look at your stuff. See if that's going to work. Oh, no, it didn't work. Oh, there it is. Okay. Because I wanted to get over there. See, I am subscribed and I couldn't find your channel. There it is. Show me. Show me confections. Okay. I'm going to play this so that, oh, notify me. February 12th. We're going to make chocolate dipped strawberries on the 12th. When is the 12th? That's tomorrow. Tomorrow we're making chocolate dipped strawberries. Okay.
I like the chocolate.
You love strawberries. So hey, if you guys haven't gone over there and um, subscribed to her yet, get on over there. She's got a brand new channel. Why isn't it loading? So there. Get on over there. Okay, now we're back. Now we're back. Okay, there. Oh, nice. Selling them for Valentine's Day. How interesting. Lisa, you're making a mosaic. Why is it dreaded? We love mosaic. It's our favorite. What kind of a project are you working on? What kind of a mosaic are you working on? I've got I've got one mosaic in the works right now that I haven't worked much on, but not because I don't want to. It's because I've got too many projects working on. What I need to do, I could do that. I could do that. So you guys, are you guys all watching the game today? Or did I just lock it instead of unlocking it? I am. Mm. Lisa and Jessica, are you guys watching the game today? Yeah, there's some big ones. Miss Dana is working on a mosaic. It's called the Montana blanket. And I think it's one of, I could be wrong. I think it's one of, oh, look at Kitten. Look at the face she's giving me. What a face. Oh, now her eyes are closed. She's not giving me that face anymore. She was giving me a look. If looks could kill, but she's done now. What is her name? I can't think of her name. It's that one though. It's the real famous one that does all of the mosaics. And she basically taught us how to do mosaics. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, the the TT, Tina Tharuthi, or this lady, that lady. I think it's her. Yeah, her. I think it's one of her blankets. The Montana. Is it one of hers? Wow, she's got beautiful stuff. Mm, mm, mm. So pretty. She had a big sale at Christmas time, and I looked and looked and looked, but I've got so many projects already. I thought I didn't want to buy oh, you know what? That would count as a bag, and this is something that's on my list to make. I'll have to ask Kim. Oh, Nana Michelle. Okay, yeah, Montana. That zippered purse, that would count as a bag, that zippered purse. And that is one of the things that I want to make. That's on my list to make this year. So maybe I can make that. We'll have to see. We will have to see.
Still have any of the zipper left Bruce gave you?
Yeah, I've got tons of zipper. Whoops.
Purple. Pretty.
Listen to an audiobook instead of a game. Yeah, I don't even know if I'll have the game on. The only reason I would is because my grands did a, where you draw the numbers. And so I've got some numbers. So, but even if I win, I just tell them to keep the money and go buy some ice cream because they're in Texas. So I never even get the money if I win. Doodle Flowers by ADO Crochet. Can I look it up? Would the pattern be on here if I looked it up?
Why did you?
Mhm. I send it through, Venmo
Venmo?
or whatever. Doodle. Seems like I've seen this. Seems like I've looked this. FL. Yeah.
Oh, it's coming forward.
Doodle Flowers pattern. Is it a Ravelry pattern? Oh my lord. Is this it? No, not when I have to do something from my phone and show it. You gotta show it real close. Dear Lord. I think that's it. Yeah, I'd go crazy. It's pretty. This is the project she's doing. Hun, that's the project
Oh,
she's
that's
doing.
pretty.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'd go nuts. I could only work on that a little bit at a time. That's an undertaking. What colors are you using?
Lace table.
So my mosaic is the Sholach. Oh yeah, the Tuala Casino. So that's in yeah, that's over on the coast. So you're in Washington. Oh, you were in Washington. This is my mosaic that I just barely started. I think I'm on row 3 or something.
Bottom of the trees.
Yeah, you start at the bottom and work up. I don't even know if I've started the trees yet. Very barely moving. I don't think I have not been to that casino, but I have gone past it on my way to Bellingham. I have a brother that lives in Bellingham. Mhm. And we would go over to what were those islands called?
And one.
San Juan Islands. We had a friend that lived on the San Juan Islands, and we would go up there, take the ferry over to the San Juan Islands. We'd go right past there. Oh, it might not drop it, Maritza, because it dropped in. Oh, there it did. Because sometimes it won't drop them right in a row. Yeah, I would. Oh, I bet that's gorgeous. Bet that's gorgeous. This one is using, what is the name of that? Prism and the Mary Maxim. What is their yarn called? It's their house yarn, whatever it's called. The Mary Maxim Value. I don't love the way it reminds me of the Caron Soft and Sleek or whatever that one is. That kind of slick, and I kind of don't like the way it feels while I'm using it. And I have decided, yeah, Orcas Island. I have decided that I need to the prism yarn. I've got to ball it up in order to use it because it's tangling and tangling and tangling because you can't find a center. It's in a donut, so you can't find a center. So I absolutely have to ball that up before I use it. It's really, really picky to work with. And so I'm going to have to do that. I've decided that's going to be a thing. But it's pretty. It's definitely pretty. Yeah, we used to go. He lived on, yeah, something Harbor. Roche Harbor was on the other side, and I know. Was it San Juan? San Juan Island?
Is on San Juan Island.
San Juan Island in the main harbor of the island.
Friday
Harbor.
Harbor.
Friday Harbor on San Juan Island. And he lived on a sailboat. And so we would go over and visit. And he also had a houseboat. He had two. And so we'd go over there and we would stay on the sailboat. And they stayed on the houseboat. And we would go visit. Oh yeah, that'll be. Lisa, we also have a messenger group for people. Let me see if I can get you into it. I don't know if they're good. Are you in do you do Facebook? Let's see if I can get you in there.
Right there.
Yep, right there.
On the dock.
If you're in Facebook, is Lisa Bird what your name is in Facebook? I can send you a link to it and you can post things in there.
Rowboat.
And it's fun. You can paste things in there and visit with people. And it's, it's part of the, it's called RWR Bingo if you want to go look it up. And then we can just admit you to it if you want to do it that way. Okay, let me see if I can find you. Let me see if I can find you. And anybody else that wants to come in there and do chats and things, it's a fun place to hang out. We don't allow any trash talk. We don't do any of the Temu game stuff. We keep it all just yarny stuff. Add, search. Okay, let me see if I can get to you. Where are you? Where are you? Lisa, Lisa, C. There you are. Okay, I think I added you. You should have an ad request. Or I can also do this. And sometimes this works and sometimes this does not. So sometimes that link works if you guys want to come into the group. Sometimes it does not work. No, I don't want that because it's already 100% charged and it'll get too hot. I just want to use it to hold it. So there's that. It doesn't on that one, but it'll get hot. Yeah, that's going to be beautiful. How close are you to being done, Lisa? Okay, how do I reset this thing? Yeah, that's quite a name. I bet you were excited to go to Bird. I heard that Hobie Dahlia is wonderful to work with too. Is that a cotton? That must be a cotton if you're using the Sultan King with it. Yeah, that would be a lot. 3 per sitting is a lot. Are you and then what are you doing for the edging? Are you doing the envelope border or a different one? I've decided well, I haven't decided anything, but I'm thinking, it was funny because this show watch that I've got is a kit. Yes, they're both cotton. The show watch that I have is a kit, and I didn't realize till I started, to read through the pattern. It doesn't it doesn't a border isn't part of the kit, or I don't know if that's the right words. The instructions don't say, "Okay, now we're gonna do the border." It's she gives you some options for a border. So I'm thinking the yarn that's included doesn't include yarn for a border. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have to buy some extra yarn for a border, which is okay, but I got to decide what I'm gonna do. And I know I don't want to do an envelope border. I mean, she gives you like 3 different options. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do there. And I actually saw I don't remember who it was. I don't even remember which thing it was, but I saw a mosaic the other day and I saved it. And she actually did and I don't know how she did it, but she said she was carrying her yarn up the side. And I cannot figure out how she's doing that because you start on one end and you end on the other end. So I don't know how she's carrying it. So I gotta get in there and read. Oh, it is snowing. That is ridiculous. But I gotta get in there and really read the instructions and see what she's doing. Unless she's just like on that last stitch, if she's just like bringing, but she said she wasn't cutting. Yeah. Oh, you're going back and forth? How are you going back and forth? So you're working your mosaics across and then you cut it and then you're working your mosaics across. Yeah, that would work. I don't know why it wouldn't. That's interesting. I'd love to see how you're doing that. So is that what you're doing? So you've got your pattern. So you're just working your chart both directions, right? I always wondered why that wouldn't work. Is that what you're doing? So you're doing two, 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 because it's just singles and doubles, and then you get to the end. And instead of cutting and starting over here, you're just you're ending and then grabbing your other color and then going back across. Oh, you have to reverse your instructions. You have to reverse your instructions? Oh, I would love to do a Zoom with you and see how that works. Lisa, would you send me an email? You got my email address, right? Roamingwithrover 3, I think this is it, at gmail.com. Lisa, would you send me an email? I would love to set up a a Zoom with you and see how you're doing that. Okay. For one thing, I want to see what you're doing with your ends. Because see, I'm left-handed also. I don't crochet left-handed, but I am left-handed. So I find it easy to do a lot of things both ways. I'm fairly ambidextrous. I can't crochet left-handed. I think because my grandmother taught me right-handed when I was so young, so I've always crocheted right-handed. Hmm, that is really interesting. That is really interesting. I love the give and take with people. Hmm. Well, my big accomplishment for today is going to be cleaning out my refrigerator. And I know I said this last weekend and it didn't happen, but I want to clean my bathroom. I want to clean my refrigerator. I wiped down the shower this morning. I have this stuff and I can't remember what it's called. Do you remember what it's called? Clear, clean and clear, I think it is called. I get it from Melaleuca. I get a lot of my cleaning stuff from Melaleuca. It's actually, I don't know if it's made in Idaho, but it comes from Idaho, and it doesn't have chemicals in it, and it there's a shower cleaner, and you spray it in the shower while you're in there, so you've already got the hot water and stuff, and it is snowing. I can't believe it. So I spray my shower down while I'm in there, and then I give it a wipe down while I'm in the shower. And so I've already cleaned the shower. And then I took the spray bottle and I sprayed down my sink area. So it's been sitting. And so I need to wipe the sink and the toilet down and mop the floor. And boom, my bathroom's going to be done. And then I want to clean out my refrigerator because it's kind of empty ish right now. So now's a good time to clean it. And Mr. gives all the leftovers, anything that we would be throwing out, he gives to the chickens. I had no idea you could do that. So we don't waste any food. No food gets wasted. Every leftover, everything that's getting a little old, the chickens get. And if they won't eat it, this sounds terrible, but if they won't eat it, it dissolves and it brings up worms and then they eat the worms. So they're happy, happy, happy. But that's the two cleaning things. Oh, and I've got some yarn that ends of yarns I ball up now. I ball up and I have got a little storage box that I put all of my partial balls. I've got little tags and I put on the tags what kind of yarn it is, if I know, which usually I do. And I put on there how many grams, and if I can figure out how many, thank you, how many grams and how many yards, so that if I need just a little bit of something, I know what I've got. And if it's really smallish, I can use it for my scrap gan and stuff like that. Knitted dishcloths. Oh, good, good, good. Good job, Jessica. Knit, purl, knit, purl. Use that crochet. What kind of cast on are you going to do, Jessica? That crochet cast on that Cheryl showed us, the easiest cast on I've ever done, bar none. And I use that for everything now. I keep a crochet hook that's just about one size bigger than my knitting needles, and I love it. Everything asks for a long tail cast on, and this is 1,000 times easier, because the problem with a long tail cast on is you're guessing how much yarn you need for that second tail. Do you have her video? Do you know how to get to her video? She made it public now. Oh, let me see if I can find it. Oh, she's not in here right now. Let me see if I can find it. Oh. Cheryl. Cheryl. Okay. That's not her. CHET cast on. Here it is. Here it is. Okay. So I'm going to copy it, copy the link, and I'm going to put it right in here. It is so much easier than the long tail. Boom, boom. Yeah, it still doesn't work, Jessica. Trust me. Do this. So much easier. There are some things where you're going to need a specific cast on. You're going to need a certain kind of, but not till you get fancy. This, I'm telling you, this is the easiest cast on you will ever use, ever. And I've probably used 10 casts on, and the long tail is always the one they teach you as a beginner. This is 1,000 times easier. And you're not dealing with this big old chunk of yarn at the end afterwards that's going to be dangling around the whole time you're messing at the end. Way easier. Because you always end up with too much or too little yarn when you're doing a long tail cast on. Do both, and then tell me what you think when you're done. Do both. Yep. And Jessica, you're in the knitting messenger group, right? Get yourself in the knitting messenger group, and we are there to help you. We're there to help you all the time. There's always somebody in there that can help you. And Cheryl is in there a lot. And Cheryl can help you with anything. Oh, dear God. I could not have gotten half of this stuff done it wasn't for the little trips and things that Cheryl has given us. Um, Lisa, also, if if you don't want to download, if you do not want to download, what was I saying? Zoom. If you don't want to download Zoom, let me know and we can set up a time and I can do a StreamYard just between you and me. We can have a private StreamYard. Oh, okay. Well, she's showing me how to do something. Yeah, it's worth it just for this little thing, Jessica. I'm telling you, there are so many times when I was ready to throw in the towel and Cheryl was like, "Okay, all you have to do is this." And it was like, "Oh, oh." And same thing, Jessica, if you want to do a little one-on-one, if you want to do a Zoom or if you want to do a private live, just let us know. Absolutely. Not that I know what I'm doing, but I can help with some the basic stuff like that I can help with. The very, very, very basic stuff. So what kind of yarn are you using? I hate the idea of somebody using cotton yarn to start with because there's no stretch, there's no give, and it's, you know. Am I really still on row one? Have I talked so much that I am still on row one? Yes. Use whatever hook you want. Just use whatever you got handy. Your stitch, it ends up loose anyway. I just keep this one right here because I'm using these knitting needles all the time. Yeah, I'm on my second row. And I just did, I don't even know what I did. Now I got to take this off and look because I cannot talk and do this at the same time. Okay, this is what I would suggest. I would suggest not starting with a dishcloth because cotton doesn't have any stretch to it. Um, I would suggest, do you have any 5-weight acrylic? Well, also, what size knitting needles do you have? Do you have any bigger knitting needles? I usually start with a little bit bigger. You know, it's just like when you start somebody with crochet. Something that's a little bigger is easier to hold on to, easier to work with. But if that's all you have for knitting needles, that's fine. Use what you got. Use what you have. Um, those do not look like. But the only reason I wouldn't work with cotton is because there's no give with cotton. You know how it is when you're crocheting and it's tight. And when you're first working, you want something with some give, some stretch to it. That's it. That's the only reason I say don't use cotton. Oh, you got tons. Yeah, just use something that's gonna work with, are they straight needles or are they on a cable? Yeah, like these, my cable needles. I use cables for everything. Perfect. Straight's fine. The only reason I use cable for everything is because it's easier to keep from dropping your stitches, from having them fall off when you set them down. That's the only reason I use the cable for everything. Okay, so find yourself um, some chunky yarn, anything, not dark. You know how it is when you're first. Um, mm, Probably to start with, you'd be better off with just your straight ones then, unless they're really long, because those are a little. Well, but we're gonna have some chunky, so whatever you got's fine. Perfect. Get your 5 weight and see what size needles it says to use. It's probably gonna say, I can't remember. Probably your 8, probably your 9 would be perfect. 6? 6? Oh, millimeter. Do you have that? If you don't have that, get whatever bigger, the closest. Don't go smaller, go the next bigger size. Perfect. Perfect. There you go. There you go. And you can still use the same pattern for that knitted dishcloth, and because you're just practicing stitches. That's all there is to it. And I would still do the exact same thing with the knit that I do with crochet, which is put a stitch marker at the end so you don't end up adding and losing your number of stitches and doing this. Although it doesn't matter because you're just practicing stitches for a while. And probably you're going to be knitting. I don't know if they're going to have you knit for a while and then crochet for a while, or crochet for a while, knit for a while, and then purl for a while. Um, are you following a pattern? Are you following a YouTube? I hold mine continental, which means I hold my yarn in my left hand and my needles like this. So I look like this when I'm doing it. And if you're doing it the other way, they have you hold everything like this. I find a lot of crocheters do continental because we're already used to holding our yarn in our left hand. And when you get to the point where you're knitting fast, you will knit faster doing it continental. Um, yeah, perfect. Rustic cottage dishcloth. So do you already know how to knit and purl? Or have you just grabbed a pattern and you're just going? Hello, Miss Bridget. There's another fabulous knitter right there. She can probably tell you everything I'm saying wrong. Rustic cottage. Just grabbed and running with it. Okay. You're gonna need a good. Let's take a look at this. Because I don't want you to do something where you're gonna get discouraged. Okay, there's knits and purls. She's got you using 2 colors, you're not gonna worry about that. Garter stitch, so that's just knit back and forth, and then you're going right into knit, purl, knit, purl. Um, I think I think you need to learn the basics before you worry about figuring out a pattern. Um, even if all you do is 4 or 5 rows of knit and then a couple rows of purl, because really that's all there is. That's all there is in knit. With where like with crochet, we've got 5 basic stitches. In knit, you've got 2. You've got knits and you've got purls. And everything in knit is some kind of combination thereof. So you got to figure out your knit and you got to figure out your purl. And honestly, a knit is on one side and a purl is on the other side. So it's just not that hard. Um, Bridget, would you agree that do you knit continental or do you knit, I don't even know what they call the other one, American? Um, I'm trying to think who a good video to watch to learn the basics is. Very, very, very beginning knitting. Oh, what is her name? Learn to knit. You didn't say, see, I don't throw continental, but I hold it continental. I don't like him. I don't like RJ. He does too many shortcuts and doesn't really teach you. Nimble Needles is good, but he's kind of fast. Shandy, Expression Fiber Arts, yeah. Mm. So funny, I can't find any of the people that I would suggest. Oh, here we go. Expression Fiber Arts. Okay, so I'll throw this one. I'll get. Oh, I did watch her for a while. So I'll copy that link and I'll put it in here. So I've copied that link and put it in here. But there's also another one I'm trying to find. What is her name? It's like pink. No. I'm digging through my past stuff. Doesn't go back any further. Yeah. Oh, yeah. But I'm talking very, very, very basic. Never held a pair of knitting needles before. Um, I should look at my history. It's been a while since I've looked at how-to videos because I was trying to figure out how to do some things, some knit things. and I looked at a ton of how-to videos, and there's a couple ladies on here that I love, love, loved. But it's like anything else. You might do really well from a knitting style that, somebody else. Barbara, there's somebody, it's Barbara something, and she's really good. Oslo and what are those two guys from Sweden? Carlos and Arlo and Carlos. Carlos and I love watching them. I've never actually tried to learn from them. I almost, and they do Continental also. I really feel like Continental is the best if you're coming from crocheting because you already know how to hold the yarn in your left hand. So you're not trying to do two different things. See, I've looked up so much about sock knitting. And this lady that I'm trying to find, I thought it was pink something, but that's not what I'm finding. But I also like her because she does her basic stuff, but then she also does it in a really slow motion. Did she have a linen stitch one? And they were really interesting. It was that darn moss stitch that I was fighting with. Never did figure that out. Never did. I finally just gave up on it. Gave up. I watch a lot of videos, you guys. Ooh, and now here's all the Vlogmas stuff. Linen stitch, linen stitch. This is it. Very pink knits. I like her. I like her teaching style too. I'll bet you she's got a playlist of learn to knit. She's got a lot of how to make this, how to make that, how to fix mistakes, how to knit a thing, intro. No, not that. Knitting basics. Boom. I'm just going to grab one of her videos and throw it on here. No, long tail cast on. Um, so that you can get to her share video. This is just so you can get to her stuff. Copy link. I really like her. I actually go to her quite a bit when I'm trying to figure out how to do something because I like her teaching style. I like her videos, and her newer videos are even better than her older videos. And she does a lot of things. She's got these slow motion videos, so you can really see what she's doing. Yeah. But rather than trying to do a pattern right off the bat, Just like when you're trying to learn to crochet, when you're trying to learn anything, just cast on, I don't know, a dozen stitches, 20, probably 20 stitches I would do. Wouldn't you think? Um, wouldn't you think 20 stitches is a good start? Oh, does Gina have how-tos? Oh, I don't think I knew that. I mean, I know she has how-tos for her more advanced stuff, but I didn't know she had beginner how-tos. Crochet tutorials. Oh my gosh, she did the Romy shawls. Oh, here we go. Learn how to knit English and continental. Boom. I'm gonna have to watch that. I had no idea. Yeah, I would just, cast on 20, 25, something like that, and then just knit, 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 20 rows, and then purl, 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 purl. I don't think you have to do as many rows because it's basically a backwards knit, and then grab yourself a pattern. Or do some knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl 2, knit 2, purl, which is your basic rib. That's how you do the ribbing on a cuff or a collar, anything like that, and then find yourself a pattern. Marley, I sometimes I find Marley a little. Does Crochet Crowd have beginning knit stuff? If you can find something in Crochet Crowd that is beginning knit, I would jump on it because, as we know, he's a fantastic teacher that breaks things down at a very easy, easy level. Um, I find Spring sometime you really got to know what you're doing to follow her. I don't know about Fiberflex. I've never watched that one. Fiber Spider, I've never watched knitting on him. I love his crochet. I get lost with Marley Bird sometimes. I think her stuff is more advanced than what she says it is. Where's Barbara? Barbara. There's a really good knitter one that is knitting crowd. I know. Isn't that ridiculous? People complaining because they're knitting. Ugh, people are ridiculous. With Barbara? No, she's not the one I like. There's another knitting lady that's super, super good. Yeah, okay, super. So, it's like with anything else. You watch a couple of videos and you figure out whose teaching style works best for you. But I would absolutely take a look at Continental compared to, what's the other style called? I don't even know what it's called. I just know that I've heard from multiple people that if you go from crocheting to knitting, they find it easier to start with Continental because you're holding the yarn in your left hand with Continental. And since we already do that with crochet, That's not a new skill then that you have to learn. So it makes it an easier transition. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say how to knit sweaters because that's I think how I found her. She's the one that I got the idea of Finish It Friday. Oh, I know. She does Finish It February. And she takes everything that she hadn't finished for the last year and she uses February and finishes it. And that's where I got the idea of Finish It Friday from. Finish It February. There she is, Roxanne Richardson. She is amazing. I don't know if she does beginning videos. So let me look. Roxanne Richardson. Richard Richardson. She's fantastic. Learn to knit. So we're gonna, because there's a few people. How I learned to knit. Technique Tuesday, continental knitting 2 ways. Oh, fun. Okay, I'm gonna grab this one and send it, and then you can bounce around in there and see. I'm gonna read this one too. I'm gonna read this one. How about I'm gonna copy link because I know there's a few people in here who have talked about wanting to learn how to. Oh yeah, well you know us. I wasn't going to. What we're talking about, Mary, in here is some different places to go because Jessica wants to learn to knit. So we're looking up some different beginning knitting um, videos for her to watch. There, this I don't know if she truly has a very beginning, but I would go look at this one. She is phenomenal with how to do things, how to fix things, how to make things, how to do stuff. Nomadic knits. Okay. Yeah, Jessica crochets. And Jessica cooks. I looked at her boot camp. They go too fast for me. I feel like you have to already know what you're doing to, I don't know. Maybe it'd be a good beginning one and then grab that and then follow through with other things. Nomadic knits. Well, anyway, there's 6 or 8 or, way too many different places to go and check things out. But yeah, Granny D. Okay. Has anybody heard how Granny D is doing? I know she's in the hospital. She had a live yesterday though, I think. I haven't looked. Because of course I was at work. I was at work all day yesterday. How's the chickens? Oh, you went and checked the mail? Yeah. Looking for the Oh, somebody asked how dog was doing. We're still waiting for his medicine. He's kind of getting worse. They think it's his heart, and she broke her tib fib. How on earth did she do that? It takes, I'll tell you what, it takes some significant doing to do that. Oh, she's got something going on then if she broke her tib fibs just walking. She's got problems.
Weakened bone.
She's got some bone issues. Hmm. Yeah, there's something significant going on if
Dog that has bone problems?
no, one of our YouTubers.
She needs to sit on some medication.
Well, she's in the hospital right now, so what the heck? Oh, wonderful. Yeah, we always do this. Yeah, I remember them saying that they thought she didn't she was just walking and it just started hurting or something. Well, guys, I gotta go. I got this weird thing in the mail that I gotta figure out what the heck's going on. Okay. Um, it has been delightful. I am so glad that we did this, and I had a lot of fun. And I think that maybe this is something that we should plan on a regular basis. Um, Jessica, please, please keep me in the loop and let me know if you need any help. I am more than happy to help you with that. Watch a few of those videos though, and slow those videos down, play them over and over and over. If you've got a local yarn store, I think it's tremendous. Yes, you've got my email. I think it is tremendously helpful to go in and sit down with somebody to walk you through something um, when you're first figuring things out. Uh, oh, yes, we have a Facebook group too. I always forget about that because I don't go on Facebook. I love our Facebook Messenger, but I don't go on Facebook itself very often. Yes. Jessica, I think, especially for a brand newer, an hour or two with them is going to save you tremendous amounts of frustration. Oh, oh, you're not going to be there next week. Okay. Local knitting club. Yeah, I don't know about knitting clubs. I'll tell you the problem with local knitting clubs that I have found. There's always somebody in there who's more than willing to tell you you're doing everything wrong. Um, and and I have run into that. Instead of just gently saying, instead of gently helping you, or even at your local knitting store, and I've run into that. That other knitting store that I went to, it was a horrible experience for me. And then I landed at this knitting store, and it's the same thing. The teacher and I clicked. Every single question I ask her, she gives me a straight answer. She can show me something and it clicks right the first time she tells me. The first time she shows me, I'm not having problems with stuff. Whereas that other teacher, I felt like I wasn't getting any help. I wasn't get, there was too the class was too big. There were 6 people in a class. It was too big. You weren't getting any time with her. I wasn't learning anything. And with this class, there's 3 people in a class, and every one of us is getting the help that we need. 6 people in a beginning class is too many. And you need to be aware of that when you go in there. And when I found in a knitting club, it's the same thing. If you find a sit and stitch club, you can, it's the same thing. Check out the people you're working with. See if the group that you're working with, you interact appropriately, you interact well. See what's going on. They may or may not be a group that you interact with appropriately. There's often people in there that think they know everything and they don't. I'm the first one to tell you, I don't know everything. I know some very, very beginning stuff. Cheryl knows everything. And she has been a tremendous help in our group. So, it's just like anything else. You got to get in a group that you click with. Um, so just be aware of that. So, but if you've got a local knitting store that you can go in and sit down with, that's what's going to help you a lot. A lot. But you've got your needles, you've got your yarn, you've got some great YouTube videos. See what you can do. See what you can do. We'll talk to you guys soon. I will see you on Wednesday. See you on Wednesday. Talk to you guys later. Bye. How do I end this thing? Oh, right here. It's different from the other one.